Hello again, everybody. Tonight is February 21st, 2019, and we're here to talk about this unrelenting heat wave that's got everybody, the drought. It's been horrible, and Tom's going to see if he can find an end to the drought. Oh, no, we're talking about snow. Sorry.
Yeah, we're going to be talking about flooding here probably in about 3 to 4 weeks. So certainly no drought, Bill. And I'm going to admit to you, you might see the bags under my eyes. I'm tired. I mean, it's been a tough 3 to 4 weeks because one of the things that I do, of course, with Novak Weather is I try to consult businesses whose business depends on the weather, if it's going to snow or not, and how much, and timing, and all that good stuff. And it's been nonstop, 24/7 for about the last
Tom,
3-4 weeks.
If you're back in your TV days, you'd be applying makeup, right? By the way, you're kind of truncated on the top of your head there.
Oh, well, that's how's that?
So Tom, just a couple questions that have come in, and just things I thought we could talk about, knowing that you did a pretty thorough video earlier today. Yesterday, it sounded like you were talking about a lot of bust potential, and now you're talking more blizzard potential. What changed in the last 24 hours?
Nothing has changed. I think the problem is maybe I need to reword some of these postings that I create. You know, people hear bust potential, they think that, oh my gosh, there's not going to be a storm. That's not necessarily what bust means, Bill. What I'm trying to say is that some people, and maybe a lot of people, but certainly some people that are expecting snow may not get it or will not get it. That's what I mean by bust. That doesn't mean that everybody is going to see a bust. It just means that some people, and that is certainly the case with this storm. If you're in central Minnesota and you've been expecting a major blizzard here this weekend, you're going to probably get a bust. However, if you're in Rochester, Minnesota, or Eau Claire, Wisconsin, you're probably going to be pretty happy if you want snow, wind, and blizzard conditions, and you won't get a bust. But that's what we mean by busting.
Okay. Two other things I wanted to talk about was about this concept of bombogenesis. Remember there was a baseball player named Bombo Rivera? Do you remember?
I do remember that. I think he played for the Twins.
Yeah.
Yes.
That came out of nowhere, but yeah.
Yeah.
So you're talking about bombogenesis, and then we also briefly thought we might talk about the difference between the Euro and the NAM, although you're probably waiting to get NAM information, the latest NAM information.
Right, yeah, and the NAM's coming down as we speak, so we'll see. We're going to actually take a look at the morning run from the NAM guidance and show you one of the problems that I see with that NAM guidance. But yeah, you're talking about bombogenesis, or we consider a storm bombing out. And what that is, Bill, by the way, and I'm going to show you here as we look at the European computer model guidance, and this is the jet stream, right? And we always look at the jet stream, Bill, when we do these videos. And what I want you to focus on now is what's going on here in Nebraska, okay? And let me just circle it for you right here. This is a developing and deepening storm system that on Saturday evening, now this is the Saturday evening jet structure, you can see that it's got that comma shape. It's a beautiful looking comma shape, which is important. And usually at the base of this comma, which is Nebraska, southeastern South Dakota, southern Minnesota, that's where storms like to develop. But watch what happens with this area as we go through time. You see that circular area? That is the storm bombing out Saturday night around midnight and then into Sunday morning, okay? It bombs out over Iowa and then continues northeast into Wisconsin. What a bomb is, Bill, is it's when a storm deepens 24 millibars, or I think it's 25 millibars, over a 24-hour period. In other words, it's just a massive deepening or strengthening low-pressure system over a 24-hour period.
So the barometric pressure would drop quickly as well?
Yes, well, that's exactly what it is. Millibars is barometric pressure, right, and when it drops 25 millibars, that's just a rapidly strengthening storm system that rarely happens. It happens, so I'm not saying that this is an anomaly, but it doesn't happen often, and it looks like we're going to get that situation.
Does that happen more? Does that happen more in the Northeast, like nor'easters? Is that more?
Yeah,
more common?
Nor'easters. Yes, I would say they are more likely than here in the north central part of the United States. They are more likely to get a bomb type storm that develops off Cape Hatteras, for instance, in North Carolina. But yes, we're going to get our own bomb here the way it appears as we get into Saturday night and Sunday. And the reason why this is important, Bill, is because usually when a storm rapidly intensifies, it has wind with it. And I'm thinking back to our last storm. I don't recall very much wind at all with that storm. And with this one, it looks like we're going to have wind that's going to create blizzard or near blizzard conditions across our region. And for those people that don't get snow out of this storm, and there will be some that won't get much snow, you're still going to get ground blizzard conditions the way it appears because of this bombing of the storm system and the intense winds that will be associated with it. And this is
so Tom, even the snow that is on the ground, and if places don't get that much snow, it just hasn't, the sun hasn't been out enough to settle that snow, so it's still blowable.
Oh, exactly. And the snow that we've been receiving in the last several storms, and keep in mind, some places have 3 to 4 to 5 feet of snow on the ground. This is that lighter, fluffier snow that's easy to blow around. So I can't imagine that almost all of Minnesota, Iowa, and Wisconsin, I can't imagine that people will not experience blizzard or ground blizzard conditions as we get into Sunday morning. And by the way, here's the jet structure for midnight on Saturday, and right here, and let me just draw it for you. This is the optimal area to be if you want to experience blizzard conditions. That is, if you believe the European computer model for Saturday night around midnight. That would include Twin Cities Metro on southeast to near Madison, but that whole area, Rochester, Eau Claire, Albert Lee, just southern and eastern Minnesota and much of western and northern Wisconsin likely have blizzard conditions.
Tom, what are those colors showing?
You're talking right here? And
yeah.
Are you talking the oranges here?
Well, when the white area was over the Twin Cities, for example.
Well, that means very little in the way of wind in the atmosphere. And then, of course, when you get into the colors, the yellows and oranges, those are strong winds in the atmosphere. And remember, these are winds at 30,000 feet high in our atmosphere. This is where the jets put it on cruise control. And here's a jet streak coming up out of Texas into Missouri. And Bill, remember when we were talking about dry slots and how those are so important when it comes to snowstorms, especially, well, any type of storm, severe weather too. Well, it looks like we're going to have a dry slot coming up out of Texas and then extending northeast. This is kind of a broken record right towards southern Wisconsin and Chicago. And then that would place us on that northwestern quadrant of that dry slot and on the nose of a jet streak, which is, again, a perfect area for a strengthening storm system. And that appears to be the case as we get into Saturday night and Sunday morning, Bill. Now, a lot of people look at the NAM computer model guidance, Bill, which is what we're looking at right now. And they've been looking at it and commenting on how far southeast it is with the snow shield. And this is for midnight on Saturday. This is the NAM computer model from this morning, okay? And look, it shows the Twin Cities bone dry. So when we talk about a bust, if you were to believe the NAM computer model guidance, Bill, the Twin Cities will bust on this snowstorm Saturday night into Sunday morning. Okay, so we're not out of the woods yet, at least for those that really, really want heavy snow. There still is potential that this storm system could nudge further southeast and the Twin Cities could bust. So I want to make that clear. But even the NAM computer model guidance is showing snow and heavy snow in the Rochester area, extending northeast to Eau Claire and then continuing in the north central Wisconsin. Now, the reason why I'm not totally buying into the NAM guidance, Bill, is because look at where the surface low is located. That's in southwestern Wisconsin,
which is a favorable area for much more extensive shield of snow to the northwest, right?
Bill, you are learning, my friend. I'm so proud of you. That's perfect. Yes, usually the snow shield.
Tom, ever since I was 3, they told me I was trainable, and it's still true today.
Well, you're coming around, Bill, and I really appreciate that. You make these videos that much easier with your knowledge, with your
you're a good teacher,
101 knowledge. Well, thank you. But usually, snow does fall to the north and west of a surface low track, but often it's much further to the northwest of where the NAM is depicting it. The NAM has it about 50 to 100 miles northwest of the storm surface low. Usually the heavy snow band is about 150 to 200 miles or so northwest of the track. So if that's the case, that would put the heavy band of snow from about Albert Lee to Red Wing up through Rice Lake and Hayward, Wisconsin. So what I'm saying is that I think that the NAM guidance may be just a little off with this snow band on where it should be located. And we'll see with this evening model run if the NAM pulls that area of snow further northwest. Now, this is the European computer model guidance for what it's expecting for snow totals as we go through time this weekend. Now, this is Saturday morning, Bill, and look at this healthy area of snow over the Dakotas and northwestern Minnesota. We're talking snow in the 3 to 5 inch range up there. So if they get any wind on Saturday and Sunday, they'll have blizzard conditions up there. And then watch as we go through time on Saturday. This is Saturday evening. You can clearly see that snow is gathering strength over Kansas and Nebraska. And then watch what it does as we go through Saturday night and then Sunday morning. And this is ominous. This is a blizzard. Look at this axis of heavy snow that the European computer model guidance paints from, just north of Des Moines, Ames, Iowa, northeast to Rochester, and then continuing northeast through Eau Claire, and then Wausau, Wisconsin. We're talking snow.
Is that it looks like 5.9 over Minneapolis. Is that cumulative from now until that? Okay, so that would include.
That is correct. That is correct. But the Euro was only predicting, and let's just go back real quick. The Euro is only predicting about 1.5 inches of snow between now and Saturday morning. So then, of course, when we add more snow to that Saturday night and Sunday, the Euro is thinking somewhere in that 3 to 6 inch range of snow across the Twin Cities metro. But the snow, and this is one thing that concerns me, and this is why a bust, or at least the bust potential, is so high for many areas and many people that are watching this video, because we're going to have this tight snow gradient located right about here. If you believe the European computer model guidance, that would be the southeastern Twin Cities metro on northeast to the lakes area of northwestern Wisconsin. That's where we would get conceivably a 4 to 8 inch snow gradient in just a 20 to 30 miles wide span. So if we just nudge this snow shield 20 to 30 miles further southeast, that would leave much of the Twin Cities high and dry. Whereas if we, of course, nudge it northwest by about 30 to 50 miles, that would put the Twin Cities right in the heart, or close to the heart, of the heavy snow. So still a lot of questions with this storm. Well, I think one thing is for certain, Bill. Well, a couple of things are for certain. It is going to have a heavy snow band with it. Exactly where, well, we'll have to watch here over the next 24 to 48 hours to see where that sets up. But the other certainty is that it's going to have wind with it. So regardless, again, if you get snow or not, regardless, I think blizzard conditions, at least ground blizzard conditions, are certainly going to be possible across all of the region as we get into Saturday night and Sunday morning. That's why I'm really asking that people suspend their travel after about 6 p.m. on Saturday. Just don't go out, because it's going to get nasty, and especially due to the winds. And then that should continue into Sunday morning. Just hunker down and wait out this storm. And of course, Bill, because of that, Novak Weather has put out a travel impact map, and you can see it here. I'm expecting nearly impossible travel conditions late Saturday night and Sunday morning, from about the Des Moines and Ames, Iowa area northeast through Rochester, Eau Claire, and then much of northern and western Wisconsin. Twin Cities, I think there are going to be travel difficulties through much of the Twin Cities metro on northeast to Duluth. And then as you go further west, at least from a snow standpoint, I'm not expecting much, but quite frankly, if this storm cranks up as much as I'm expecting it to, I think all of Minnesota, even the eastern Dakotas, and then Iowa and Wisconsin, everybody's going to be experiencing tough travel conditions due to blowing snow, especially late Saturday night and into Sunday.
Tom, I think on your earlier video, if I recall, you mentioned you were feeling pretty confident on where the snow is going to set up. What's your level of certainty that this is not going to, the Twin Cities are not going to be into the bigger, heavier snow band?
Well, I'd feel a lot more comfortable if the short-term NAM guidance were to come around and start showing what the European model guidance and the GFS is showing, which would be snow from the Twin Cities on southeast. So, my confidence is I'd say moderate right now. And now, Bill, this is the NAM guidance now from 7 p.m. this evening. So it's just coming down. And let's just take a quick peek at it as long as we've got everybody with us here. This is Saturday afternoon, and you can clearly see a jet streak pretty much where the European model guidance had it from Texas on northeast to Chicago. So, the NAM is, at least from an upper level standpoint, is coming around to what the European guidance is showing. And then here we go. This is the 500 millibar winds, and you can see a very tight low pressure system getting going over Kansas on Saturday afternoon. This is that system now starting to bomb out, and let's just see where it's placing the precipitation. One moment, and I'm going to be a little worried if it continues to keep it well south and east of the Twin Cities metro. Here's that snow for later tomorrow and into Saturday morning. We may have to watch out for a few inches of snow even in the Twin Cities metro and southern Minnesota. But here's the snow shield now developing Saturday afternoon over Kansas. And it's too bad that we don't have the guidance extending past Saturday afternoon, but we'll have to see. That the track of the low still looks to be from Kansas City to eastern Iowa into southwest Wisconsin. So, but it is keeping that snow shield pretty close to the surface low. So yeah, I would say my confidence right now is about moderate, Bill. I do think that some people are going to get skunked on Saturday night and Sunday morning as far as snow is concerned. I do feel that it's more likely that it'll be from the northern and western suburbs of the Twin Cities on northwest. And I don't think right now that the heart of the Twin Cities metro is going to get the axis of heaviest snow. I think the Twin Cities metro is going to be on that sharp snow gradient. And if you're in Dakota County or southern Washington County, you stand a much better opportunity of getting a half a foot of snow than if you're up in Anoka and Wright County of the Twin Cities. So the further south and east you travel on Saturday night and Sunday morning, the better opportunity you are going to have of receiving heavy snow. Now, one other thing I wanted to note here, Bill, these are the low level temperatures in our atmosphere as we go through Saturday. And so this would be Friday night now and Saturday. Look how close the 32 degree Fahrenheit or 0 degrees Celsius line is in southern Minnesota. If we have this surge north just a few more miles, like maybe 30 to 50 more miles, we might be dealing with some ice over portions of southern Minnesota and western Wisconsin as we get into Saturday. So I want everybody to be aware of that also, that this could easily turn into an ice changing over to snow scenario for portions of southern and eastern Minnesota and western Wisconsin. Just a huge travel headache for those going out Saturday night and Sunday morning. And again, Bill, I would just tell everybody, you know what? Why don't you just hunker down, stay close to home, and wait this storm out when we get into Saturday night and Sunday.
Tom, so last question. Obviously, next Thursday would be the last day of February, right? Last I checked, there's 28 days usually in February, right? So after the weekend, do you see any more possibilities to go after the big all-time record?
No, I actually think we are going to evolve into a much quieter weather pattern as we get into the last few days of February and then into March. I think it's still going to be cold, at least for the next 7 to 10 days. But then I've been telling my clients this too, I'm expecting March to be finally more of an above average type of a temperature regime, because that pendulum, Bill, has to swing in the other direction. And I think it's going to happen. And I still think I'm going to hold to my cards here. I still think we're going to have an early spring, even though we have 4 feet of snow on the ground.
Yeah, well, it's going to be fun to watch how quickly that happens.
Yes.
Going from feet of snow to an early spring. So
yeah, we may go from 15, 20 degrees and 4 feet of snow on the ground to 50, 60 degrees in a heartbeat.
Well, that's par for the course.
It is. All right, William.
All right, Tom. Thanks for the good info.
Yep. We'll take care. And again, everybody, watch the weather maps and pay attention this weekend. Bye-bye.
I agree. Bye-bye.